All right. Here we are with another edition of From the Margins with James Afat, my dear friend, attorney here in Orlando, Florida. James Afat, Jimmy, how are you?
Oh, it's a great day now that the government is open, and I don't see any difference in Social Security. They were working from the home before the shutdown, and you couldn't reach anybody before the shutdown. You could not reach anybody during the shutdown, and as of today, you still cannot reach anybody. So I really haven't seen any change, but I'm happy that they're at least getting paid. Uh, Other than that, everything seems to be going well. Everything here in Orange County is fine. We have our mayor running for uh, governor, and I only have one question for him: who's in charge of your Hispanic committee? Leave it at
Yeah.
that. And it should be somebody who understands the statewide, not somebody who just understands locally. You might want to appoint a committee right now and ask them to come up with a plan to get out the Hispanic vote, because in the past your spouse did people who work with her did a horrible campaign to get out the Hispanic vote. But they didn't really do that. I shouldn't say that because that's not completely correct. They did nothing to get out the Hispanic vote. Okay, so it's not they did a horrible job. That would mean that they did something wrong. No, they didn't do anything. So it's kind of a different thing. Okay.
You're right about that. Uh,
So
it-
you
you,
told
you
me
know, I got a question for you, Jimmy. I'm ready to, right off the box.
go for it.
Jimmy, this shutdown,
Yes.
what happened with the Democrats?
Well, there's eight of them who don't have a backbone, who are stupid enough to believe in the promise, yes, we will discuss it at a later date, healthcare. Not realizing that now that healthcare people are starting to look at the prices, they were starting to back the Democrats because they realized that Obamacare, which millions of Americans depend on, basically are the prices are going up. Healthcare, the prices are going up. The reason why, well, you could believe what the health insurance companies are telling you, or you could believe what is the truth. The truth is that basically, at this point, uh, Americans are starting to get less and less sick. And because they're getting less and less sick, people are starting to say, well, I could use a health insurance with a $5,000 deductible. I could get a health insurance with a $2,000 deductible. I could get one without vision, without dental, without hearing, without this, just a basic, because realistically, I am a healthier country. So people are purchasing less. That's why there's so much competition, believe it or not. The other factor is that really right now, health insurance companies are not making the big bucks selling health insurance. They're making the big bucks ripping off people with the Medicare Advantage programs. Okay,
Mm.
there's where the big bucks are for them, because basically it's not what they're getting paid to administer each case. So they're getting a flat fee to administrate uh, David Washington's plan from the government. Okay, so there's where they make their money. They then control the people, the doctors, and saying, "Hey, we're going to pay you $20, but we're going to bring you 1,000 clients," uh, and that's how they've worked it out. So there is where the health insurance companies are putting all their money, are putting all their personnel, are putting all their sales agents, because the real money is in advantage plans. So they're not paying attention to the other ones, and the other ones, there's no, they don't get a fee from the government to administrate it. So they're charging you what they consider their administration fee, and they're increasing the prices. Under the Advantage program, they are limited to what they could do, but not under Obamacare. They can charge as much as they want. And what they're thinking is, hey, if we increase it 200%, the U.S. government is going to pay for this, so we don't have to worry about it. What they don't realize is that the Republicans refuse to do so. So, eight senators decided to lose their backbone. They got chicken, and they broke away from Chuck Schumer, who I've said for months and months in this podcast needs to go because he doesn't have a control like the Republican does on his side. He does
Right.
not have the control. And you have 8 senators who basically could be primaried right now and go. And if they think they're safe enough to go up at re-election and this is not going to backfire on them, it will backfire on them. So at this point, the question was during the shutdown, who was going to blink first? And it was the Democrats. Simply put, they have no backbone. They said, well, he gave us a promise that we're going to discuss this. Look, you're not selling it. Nobody's buying it. You just were afraid that people were, the PAM was going to be cut off and you were not going to, people were not going to have this, the food stamps were going to be cut off, that the employees were not getting paid, and that TSA bravely decided not to show up and screw up the airports. So basically, you caved in. So from here on, don't ever threaten that you have any power, and the power of the filibuster, you don't have to take it away because you always have traitors within the Democratic Party. And I'm going to call them that, traitors. So,
Jim, humor me with what I'm about to say, and I like your thoughts. The 3 senators who voted who decided to align themselves with the Republicans to open the government again. Angus King is an independent. He typically caucuses with the Democrats. 2 that I'm aware of the senators are retiring when their terms end in 2026 or 2028. And one of them being the senior senator from Illinois, Dick Durbin. And then the others, like John Fetterman, and I hope he is doing better. He fell today outside his home. God, look after him. But the other senators either will face re-election in 2028 or in 2030, or they'll be retired and out of the Senate before the next election and will not face a primary or a general election. And so I'm thinking, when I learned that these particular senators came forward to vote with the Republicans on this continuing resolution, it has the appearance that this was planned and that these senators, for the most part, safe from any type of consequences by voters, were chosen to go to the Republicans and say, okay, we're done. We got what we needed in New York, New Jersey, and Virginia in the election a week ago, almost a week ago. Let's close this up. Am I just should I just throw away my tinfoil hat and conspiracy theories and just like walk away? But however, Jimmy, this is peculiar. Your thoughts?
it is peculiar because I'm going to start with your state senator who's retiring. He's always been a wishy-washy person. He's been there 29 years.
Yes.
Basically, he's always tried to claim that he's an independent, but he's not. When things favor what he wants to, he could close lines with the best, and he really felt that he should have replaced and not be Chuck Schumer. It should have been him, the majority leader, and we all know that is something that he's resent. So that's one thing. The truth of the matter is that basically, I'm not sure what he received in exchange, because basically, like you say, he's retiring, but he's getting something. He didn't vote with nothing in exchange. He's getting something. I'm not sure what exactly it is. It will probably pop up later. The other senator that's leaving, the same. Fetterman, to be quite honest, is as cuckoo as the cuckoo clock that my grandfather had in his living room. I mean, ooh, 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 ooh. Uh, uh, I'm not sure if he's coming or going at times, and the things that come out of his mouth, I'm just wondering, is he just that stupid, or does he like to provoke conversations? Because it could be one or the other. But he already has opposition in his home state, and we know that when his time comes, he's a one-term senator because nobody in Pennsylvania likes him. Why? Because he insults everybody and he treats everybody with total disrespect. So he's not going. He's not going to be so. He knows he's out the door. Uh,
Okay.
Klein had the pressure that most of his people that live in Virginia work in the federal government and were putting pressure on him. And I'll give him that way out. Yes, your constituents were really putting pressure on you. I agree. Now,
Okay. Okay.
the others, the dear senator of the great state of Maine, it's always been kind of wacky. He claims to be independent, but never is caucus with the Republicans. And
Right.
what did he get in exchange is a good question. Did he get a bridge or did he get something else promised him down the line? Could be. We never know. The truth of the matter is that right now there's a problem in the Senate. The Republicans are well organized and they're so corrupt that they will go up and say to uh, a senator from us, say, hey, that bridge that you really want, that you have in the budget that we oppose, we will vote for it. And uh, and definitely you could get 5 or 6 Senate Democrat senators to vote for it, and you will have your bridge. But if we oppose your bridge, it's not going to happen. Hey, the expansion to your airport that you want, we would vote for it, but you need to give us. So he knows how to negotiate. Chuck
Sure.
Schumer knows how to be stubborn.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, he's never known how to negotiate. He's never known how to do anything. He's been a senator who basically was behind Reed, who was a great negotiator. That man can
Yes.
negotiate with anybody, and he ran the Senate in a very efficient way. So, yes, Chuck Schumer is just somebody who is there and says stupid things. And every time he opens his mouth, people say, why is that guy retired? He's old and senile. Okay, well, yes, he should. And he has never been able to control the Democrat caucus. And it was proven right there. So, uh, yeah, people, these senators were bought off. With what? We will find out later. I'm sure that some reporting will come up and we will find out what they're going to be with. Now, the other interesting thing is what are they going to do when the Epstein thing passes through and goes to the Senate? Are they going to be also purchased by the Republicans to vote against it? I'm not sure. It's good because the Epstein thing only needs 51. It does not need.
Okay.
It's not a filibuster. It's not a budget thing, so it can
Right.
by a majority. So we know it might be vetoed by the president.
True. And the Republicans in the Senate, I believe, have what, 53 votes?
Correct.
And I'm not too sure if all of them are on board. I mean,
Well,
I know that in the House, we know which Republicans voted with the Democrats.
you know
Over.
that Rand Paul is going to vote for it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
He's
I was
already
going to
announced
say,
it. I mean, I want to see senators vote against it and then go back to their constituents and say, "Hey, I voted against it because I didn't want to know the truth about what was going on." So yeah, and the more
right, and
that keep coming out about Trump, ooh, the worse it's going to get.
right, and we know that big money, big names, and corporations. I mean, J.P. Morgan, that not laundered, but carried a lot of money for Epstein through its corridors, and some people lost their jobs for it. However, when a quarter or a third of $1 billion come through your bank, you got to scratch your head. They had a very good relationship with Epstein at one point. Um, and to speak to the Epstein files, Jimmy, this is an issue for the MAGA crowd that they were persistent. MTG, Lauren
No,
Boebert.
no. That's correct. You were not persistent. Are still persistent about it.
Ah, yes, they
It's not like
still
it's not like they have abandoned that issue. No. It's still there. It's still an issue for them.
right. And if I were the Republicans and the president, I'll say, you know something, let it loose. Let's let it all out. Let's get it out in the open. Let the chips fall as they may, and still try to do my job to the best of my ability. It's not going to look pretty. Yes, he said he wants to protect some innocent people who are in these files who may not or have done something. Who knows? Innocent to him is completely different in the rule of law. Who knows? However, Americans have short memories. And I want to go back to, and I say this because, again, the Democrats voted. They were celebrating their wins a week ago, Tuesday, on Election Day, and talk about, Hakeem Jeffries talked about, the Senate is now in play, the House of Representatives definitely in play. And now it's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I think.
I differ. I think it is. Like to
Okay.
take your own phrase. People have short memories. Between now and November 26th, they might have forgotten about the shutdown. They might have.
Right. I think
Okay.
they will.
And when we're talking about taking over the Senate, it's taking it over by taking Republican states and making them into Democrats. That could still happen. Look, Kentucky lost a supermajority that they had. Virginia has a super Democratic majority. The Republicans lost about 13 seats in the House, and that's a lot. And these were in districts that were not necessarily purple. They were so. Are the Democrats still motivated to go out to vote? Yes.
Sure.
Are they going to be motivated to go out to vote? Yes. Now, this is the interesting thing that a lot of people do not understand. How are Republicans going to vote against for these candidates who did not voted against the Epstein file? Will they run somebody against them? If not, they don't run somebody against them. Will they go out to vote? That's the other question. They might say, "Screw you, Mr. Smith. You voted against my interest. I'm not going to go and vote for you." Or they just vote and leave that vote in blank, which is what most of people are. But the reality is, Virginia went super Democrat. Kentucky, the Republicans lost their supermajority. They're still a majority. Don't misunderstand me, but they lost their supermajority. It's now they have to go to negotiate with Democrats to get certain things done. As a matter of fact, if the governor vetoes a bill in Kentucky right now, who's a Democrat, just to show everybody the importance of this, if he vetoes the thing, the Republicans cannot override his veto. They don't have that power anymore.
Yep.
So they can try, but if the Democrats say no, we're going to agree with our Democratic governor, the veto stands. So this is how important this thing has become. There's races in Georgia that were won and stuff like that. So is it going to carry into 2026? Yeah. Are those senators going to be vulnerable? Yes, they are. It is time to take David Hogg's words, it's time to challenge some of these old farts and run somebody else. It is. I'm sorry.
A good thing that Nancy Pelosi decided to retire.
Yeah.
Chuck Schumer should walk out with her. And the good senator, I know he's a Republican, but Chuck Grassley also. Come on, Senator Grassley. It's time to walk.
Yeah, but
I think
and you could walk, and another Republican will win in that state because basically, and and Democrats, it's time for you to find somebody to run against Mooney. You, what are you doing here? You have not recruited a candidate that could win for governor. You have not recruited a candidate that could win for the U.S. Senate. You might have a candidate that could win for attorney general, and mostly because the attorney general that's sitting there, our current attorney general in Florida, is being investigated for corruption for the Hope thing because he was part of the Hope uh, thing of putting it together and selling $10 million out of Florida's budget. So yes, he is vulnerable. The CFO, we don't really have a candidate, and the secretary of agriculture, I don't see that happening either. So realistically, Democrats, if you really want to recruit a good candidate who understands how the Senate works, who understands how things are done in politics in the state of Florida, you could win this. And I'm going to tell you again, Nikki, listen to these words. Work with my friend Demings, and he can deliver the state to you. You have to understand that, yes, he's going to need some people to work the Hispanic community. You're going to have to raise some money to work the Hispanic community. You're going to have to show the Hispanic community that he is a viable candidate and that the others are a bunch of corrupt people. So, yes, you could do that. But right now, you are more concerned about Israel than you are concerned about the state of Florida. So, Nikki, if you can't do your job, quit and let somebody else do it for you. Because the Democratic Party in Florida is hurting, and the person who's causing the hurt is you.
right.
Okay. Do you have another question? Knowing you, I know you have another question.
Yes, I do. And just want to touch on the Epstein files one last time. It's an issue for a certain demographic in our nation. However, in the larger scheme of things, Jimmy, it's not a kitchen table issue. It's just not. It doesn't do anything for me and my kitchen table issues, you know. And I understand, what is it? Human trafficking. I saw it in Thailand when I served in the Peace Corps. Very familiar with it. However, I don't think it's one of those top 5 issues, the Epstein's files, for a vast majority of the electorate. How do well? I may answer my question already. How do the Democrats and like-minded Republicans make the Epstein files an issue for voters to take seriously and vote on it?
Primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me put it this way. You're right. It's not an issue. You're a Republican congressman from the great state of Kentucky, and you voted against releasing the Epstein file, and they decide to run somebody against you in the primary who say, look, you see that guy? That guy is against human trafficking. You see that guy? He knows that you wanted the Epstein files to be released. But what did he do? He went with the rich and the powerful. He went with the people who really don't want their names out there. He's a rhino, and he basically, all he did was not vote in your best interest. And even though you wanted these files to be released, he ignored your request. So in the primaries, could that person take out the incumbent? That's a possibility. Okay? We do know that the people who vote in Republican primaries, the Epstein file, yes, is an issue. It's a big issue for them. Not for us. Those who believe in conspiracy that vote in primaries, that's a big issue. So, yes, in primaries, it could be. But I'm going to go and take off one hat and put out the other. Now I'm going to be a political strategist. You're my client. Hey, Dave, let's make this a issue as long as we can in the press. Let's push the White House to be doing this defense because as long as they're on defense, they cannot be on offense. As long as they're in defense and they're meeting and trying to create an answer for this or that, as long as Donald Trump is pissed off all the time because this is bothering him because he knows his name is going to come out. He knows he was friends with Epstein, and he knows that even though he keeps denying that he had anything with young girls, he still was associated and a close friend to a pig. Okay, so you keep that up, David, because the longer that we're discussing the Epstein files, the longer the White House has to be playing defense, they cannot play offense, and something stupid is going to come out of Trump's mouth that's going to make it look even worse. So you need that is the other strategy that I don't think anybody's talking about. Why are Democrats concerned about it? Are Democrats really, like us, concerned about Epstein? No, but Republicans are. And he knows that that's his base. Plus, he's afraid that it's going to come out that he was very closer than he wants to admit to Epstein, who we all know was a pig. And you didn't know he was a pig, but you were close to him. You didn't see all these young girls at his parties because you went to parties. So, yes, that's what he's concerned about. So it's more of a strategy. Keep throwing it in his face because that's going to force him to defend himself, and he's not going to be able to put together a plan to be on the offense. Look, to be quite honest, this is the part that most people do not understand about strategy politically.
Sure.
We're in November. With all due respect, by November of next year, 1 year, we're not 10 years away, 1 year, we will have the election that would turn the House to the Democrats and might reduce the majority to the Republicans in the Senate. That's why we call him a lame duck president, because without the House, he's not going to be able to pass a simple bill.
That's right.
So the longer we keep him on defense, the better. And this is where Mike Johnson is stupid. I'm sorry. He's trying to do two things. He's trying to make it a special type of vote where it would have to be passed by 290, which I don't think the rest of the House is going to allow him to do that, because there's no requirement to have a supermajority on this vote of Epstein other than he's trying to protect the president. But the other issue is that realistically, the longer he postpones it, the worse it. Look, it's going to go to the House. Then it's going to go to the Senate. Then from the Senate, it's going to go to the president. That's great. And because we're in November and we have Thanksgiving and Christmas in between, we're still going to be discussing Epstein in March of next year. Why? Because in March of next year is when, if it passes the Senate, which it could, let's stop pretending that it can't. If it would, even if all 52 senators vote against it, Republican senators, it will still be 48 to 52. But all these Republican senators who are up for re-election, do they really want to go back to their constituents and say, hey, I know I promised you that we will give you transparency on this, but when it came the moment for me to deliver to you, I didn't. And let me explain to you why. Because President Trump asked me to do so, and whatever he asks me, I do. I don't care about what you want. I care what he wants. That is not put him in a good. So, but still, it will be discussed. And this is the issue. This is like they say back home, this is the gift that keeps on giving. It's just that cycle of stuff. Realistically, if they had had any brains, they would have taken this up in March and got rid of it. Opened it up to the public and got rid of it. But no, they tried to. So right now, let's say he's trying to call this in a late November vote. That's when he's going to schedule it for the week after Thanksgiving. So that all this time, it's going to be in the news. The Epstein, why is he trying to? Why is he trying to get 290 instead of the majority of the vote? I don't know. It's going to keep going back and forth, and it's going to be a distraction for the White House because they're going to have to play defense. Right now, he's calling Congress people to vote against it. Why is he calling Congress people to vote against it? Because realistically, he does not want to veto it. He wants it to die in the House. And he said, well, it died in the House, so really, I had no say about it. I've already instructed my Attorney General to do so, but she says that there's nothing there. Yes, the Epstein file is something that will keep on going. They will be playing defense and everything else. And by June of next year, everything is going to be concentrated in the November elections. Let's stop pretending.
Okay. All right.
So it's going to be,
you heard
you
heard it right. So, go ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
Now you understand where they're coming from.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And everyone watching and listening, you heard it right here first from Jimmy. So before I ask you the next question, Jimmy, I just want to pause and I want to thank, and you and I talked about this earlier this week, I want to thank our viewers who tuned in to our last episode. We had more than the usual amount of viewers and listeners to the show. So I just want to show appreciation and thank you publicly. Thank you, Jimmy, for a great show, for all the great shows that you put together. And Jimmy, I did a little homework, and some of our past short form content on TikTok has seen a slight increase in viewership. So I want to shout out to, those folks who are looking at all of our content, going back into our history and viewing the past content that we've had and increasing our numbers there. So again, thank you for everyone tuning into to this show, to From the Margins with James Lafont, and keep the comments coming. We still get the comments, Jimmy, and on both sides, and of course the likes. We're still getting the nice steady flow of likes, and please check out more of that short form content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook.
And thank you, everybody. And I really even appreciate those comments that are not exactly nice, but I understand that you have your points of view, and I respect your points of view. I differ from your points of view, but look, that's what makes this country great. You have your point of view, I have mine, and we all need. What we really need to do is respect each other. We can
Indeed.
depart as friends or agree to disagree, but with a very nice and polite way. We don't have to be nasty. And to be quite honest, none of the comments are really nasty. They disagree, but they're not. I wouldn't use the word nasty.
Right, and the comments have been, fairly, good on both sides of the argument. We've had one person said, "Oh wow, I didn't know that, Jerry Demings was running for mayor. Thank you for that information." And then on the flip side, we had someone's like, "Screw that. I'm still going to vote for whoever Ron DeSantis gets behind." It's like, okay, more power to you, but overall, keep commenting. Let us know what you think.
He's gonna vote for DeSantis' wife. Okay, that's
There you go. So, Jimmy, my next question is: so all this excitement for our friend in New York, the mayor-elect Mamdani. Just this past week, Governor Hochul has said more and more about some of the ideas and plans that Mamdani has for New York. And it seems like she's thrown some cold water on it because, one, she's like, I'm doing what I can to help out, like the New York City transit. And also, she's like, where's this money coming from? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, she has to be careful. And this is the part that I'm going to now put my hat of political advisor. Hey, Governor, you're in for re-election. Okay? You don't want to
Yes.
piss off New York City. You don't want to be the people in New York City say, hey, we're not getting our mass transit because our governor opposes it and because our governor won't help us get this money and do this. Let me give you some sound advice. Back it, and if it doesn't pass in the legislature, blame the legislator. But you're saying that where's the money going to come from? You know where the money's going to come from. It's always coming. It's going to come from two things: stop the waste, which New York is famous for, and
Right.
yes, you might want to increase the tax. Look, I'm going to say this in a very nice way. You people don't have a vision of how to govern. You really don't. I'm not going to give you an example.
Wow.
Okay, something that we have used here in Orange County. Our schools were deteriorated. They were needed some serious works on them. I mean, they were bad. We passed for 10 years a penny sales tax to be used exclusively in improvements to the school. It was run perfectly. The controller ran it completely correctly. Every penny that was collected was used to improve the school structures, and 90% of all the schools in Orange County have new facades. The 10% that don't, or the 10% that today were built during that period, so basically they didn't need them to have a new facade because they were being built at that time. But the others have a new facade. They have new plumbing. They have been fixed. They've been updated, and they look completely different. And the voters of Orange County said yes. You know what? Let's talk to New Yorkers and say, hey, we're going to run something here by you in this election 2026. Would you be willing to pay a penny sales tax in exchange for free buses? See what they say. Would you be willing to pay a penny on sales tax for 10 years in exchange to be able to have free daycares? Let the voters decide. You know, it's always interesting that you think you have to do it and you can't count on the voters. It is possible that in the richest city of the world, you could raise 1 or 2 pennies in the sales tax and use that money for daycare and for buses. Simple as that. You don't have to go to Harvard. You don't have to figure it out in some other place. If the voters want to pay the money to do that, let them do so. At the end of the day, for those of you who do not understand sales tax, let me give you a little secret. You know what New York and Orange County have in common?
New York and Orange County, a very large Puerto Rican demographic.
No, this is what they have in common.
Okay.
More than 35% of their sales tax is paid by tourists.
I did not know that about New York. 35%.
Oh, yes, New York has a lot of tourism coming in.
It's true.
Most of the people, and I'll give you a thing. Most of the people in Square, Times Square are tourists.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yes. True.
And they collect tons of money of sales tax there. Okay. So when people tell me, the best example of tourism is what you collect on sales in the airports, which is a ton of money, and half of those people there are tourists. So when people tell me, it's all local, not really. I mean, all the people that spend money and pay taxes inside of Disney, Universal, and Legoland, that's not 90% of Orange County residents don't go there. I mean, I haven't been to Disney in years. I don't know how long it's been since you've been in Disney, but I haven't. So the people who are spending tons of money in there and they're collecting sales tax, those are tourists. So basically, when you say, hey, in Orange County, we're going to collect 6 cents, not all the money is going to be paid by locals. The tourists will be paying part of it. It will be a 50-50? No, but it's probably going to be a 30-70, but still, not all of it is going to be carried by locals. So it's going to be an interesting thing. But New York, you want to do it? Make a proposition. Come November 2026, would you pay a penny extra to be able to have free buses and daycare centers? And let's see how they say. If they say yes, then use the money for that.
Right.
I mean, we've done it twice. We did it once for roads, and we did it twice for our schools, and we know they pass, and people don't have a problem with it. So when, they don't complain about that extra penny. Seminole County has done it at least 4 or 5 times too that we know of. So it is something that you could do, and as long as you designate it for that purpose, hey, what other better way to pay for it than doing that? Simple as that.
Right.
So, Mamdani, if you're listening, I gave you an idea how I'll take care of your problem. Hey.
So you create a specific tax increment district in Times Square, for instance, where you'll levy that penny increase just in that particular
no,
space.
well, I would do it citywide. If you do
Okay.
it
Okay.
citywide,
Why? Okay.
because at the end of the day, you're going to benefit from having free daycare. So you're going to benefit from having free bus service. So yes, what I'm trying to say is that area there, 80% of the people that are buying things there are tourists. Just like I would say 100% of the people buying stuff in Disney, Universal, and all the other parks, those people are, I hate to say, are tourists. There's no way around it. As a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting. But the other day, it is stated that 60% of the people buying in Millennium are tourists.
Yeah, I can believe that.
So it is, whatever. But I think if they're smart, they'll just say, let's put on the referendum. Let me take this popularity thing out for a ride. Let me take a referendum. We're going to increase the tax penny, the sales tax 1 penny, and that's going to be used for the free bus and and people say, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, that's the fairest way to increase a tax, taking it for a vote.
Good point. Very good point. Jimmy, to bring it closer to home locally, we had the government shutdown and people were not getting paid. People were not getting their benefits. Social Security kept going, of course. And earlier this month, I was taking my Daisy, my fiance, out for dinner for her birthday. And we were in the Audubon neighborhood, and there was a specific Italian restaurant I wanted to take her to. However, when I drove there, it was packed. The other restaurants in the area were packed. The parking lots were packed. We ended up going somewhere in Winter Park. However, it was busy. It's busy out there. And I know that people are doing well here, but another demographic may be doing not so well here. There seems to be, I don't know, I can't say a disconnect in regards to the economy. However, it is a mixed bag, and I'm shocked that again, going back to the shutdown, I'm shocked that the Democrats focus mostly on healthcare. That is an issue. However, I think the bigger issue is, just putting food on the table, paying the mortgage, paying the car note, putting gas in your car. And I think it was a missed opportunity. However, we are seeing somewhat of that conversation among those who are filed and running for office and actively campaigning, like in the recent city of Orlando elections. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the problem with that is that you could say to the shutdown, look, affordability is an issue. The truth of the matter is that the thing that they were shutting down is that it was the budget, which really does not make anything affordable for you. And as much as we like to say this, the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate do not have no comprehension of affordability. They've never campaigned on it. They don't understand it. But they do understand that they had a golden opportunity, that the prices of healthcare are going up, and the majority of the people do depend on healthcare, and they need healthcare. And unless the government came to their rescue, they're going to be paying through the nose. And that one, the Senate and the House has a control over. They could create a budget to put subsidies for Obamacare, and the House and the Senate had just abandoned that because they don't think that that there's a need for it. That's the disconnect of Washington. I have my health insurance. What's wrong with you? So yes, I don't think they lost it. I think what they're going to have to do is understand one thing. All three of the people who major races that won last Tuesday, not this Tuesday, past Tuesday, were campaigning on affordability. Mostly, and the most was Mamdani. Mamdani was, when he kept saying that you cannot afford to live in the city that you work in, he was right. That costs of rent are astronomical. He is right. As a matter of fact, costs of rent here in Central Florida are out of line. They're completely out of line.
Yes.
We know that. But different from New York, that they do have a rent control law that they just don't apply. We don't have that here. So
right.
We're going to go into what is called an affordability campaign. Now, that is mostly going to be good for local races. The U.S. House and the U.S. Senate is going to have to be for the bigger issues such as healthcare, such as about immigration for the Republicans. I have to give them credit that that's their issue. That we're going to deal with the factor of tariffs, which we've been paying through the nose, and other issues like that will be national. But I think all local races have to be about the A word, affordability. Period. There's nothing else.
Agreed.
Affordable, the cost of life, is, and the other thing is, the Republicans are going to steal that platform. Well, the Democrats don't have any platform because they don't have any seats that they seriously can win. But if they do pass the property tax thing,
right,
that will be huge in the state. So it's going to be affordability is going to be the issue in this next election, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Good.
And let me ask you a question. What do you think is going to happen with these candidates who basically do not understand the issue of affordability, such as President Trump said that there is no affordability crisis, that's a bullshit that's been invented by the Democrats, that the cost of living is down.
Jimmy, I tell folks that, especially those individuals who are like hanging on every word in action of the president, mostly his words, and I tell them, focus on the people around them and what they do, and try to understand policy. For those folks who are not understanding what the main kitchen table issues are in this election cycle, they're going to muddle through their campaigns. They're not going to connect with their voters as they should. And whether you're running for dog catcher or for senator, the issue is affordability somewhere in that campaign. Again, regardless of what you're running for, affordability has to be in your campaign strategy. And those who do not embrace that, again, are going to muddle through their campaigns. And for the most part, the majority of them are going to fail.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%.
Good. Good.
Okay.
On that note, I think we know what time it is.
It's time for the fuck up of the week.
Here we go. Yes.
Like, we don't know what it is going to be. What was he going to come up? Let me start with the Democrats. You
All
fucked
right.
up. You caved in. 8 of you caved in to vote to reopen the government and got nothing. Nothing in exchange. By the way, a promise is bullshit. And the promise is, and let's get it clear, that they will take a vote. And he knows that the vote will be 53 to 47 to vote to deny the subsidies to Obamacare. So it's going to die there. So, with all due respect, you caved in. You got nothing in exchange. The only thing you did is keep the government closed for 47 days, and you got shit in exchange. So, you are, this 8 of you are the fuck up of the week for the Democrats. Now,
Okay.
the Republicans is kind of easier. Your fuck up is quite clear. You've had a year to prepare for the upcoming election. You had a year to prepare to come out with some strategy to win elections, and you lost the elections. And to make things worse, right now, your base, not the base of the Democrats, okay? Your base for years have been by your director of the FBI and the subdirector of the FBI and Mr. Hannity and others have had the conspiracy of that the Democrats eat children, that the Democrats are sexual perverts, that the Democrats was Epstein. And for the record, I don't know if he was a Democrat or Republican, but I know he had dirt on both sides. That Bill Clinton is part of this thing, that Prince Andrew just got stripped of all his thing because he was part of this thing. But the truth of the matter is that you have obstructed the vote of Epstein and you don't have a plan B. Right now, you are allowing the Democrats to take control of the issue of the day. We're not talking about any projects. We're not talking about Venezuela anymore. We're not talking about Ukraine anymore. We're not talking about any other war that's going around the world. We are talking strict. We're not even talking about the terrorists. Period. We're not talking about China. We're talking about Epstein. You have allowed this to happen by your lack of planification. You should have come out in March and said, "Here's everything, people. Here you got it." And yes, Donald Trump was a very good friend of Epstein. Yeah, there's a lot of photos about it, but there's no evidence that he got involved with young girls. He knew that Epstein was, and he knew that Epstein was a pig, and he did nothing about it. So basically, yes. And maybe by now, the caca would have been removed from Trump, and you could have gone forward. But now, you're going to keep going with the caca into the elections in 2026, which you're going to lose. You have not known how to manage the problem that you created. I'm sorry. The problem investing was created by the FBI director, sub-director, Hannity, and all these other programs saying about this, all these conspiracy, and I'm sorry, you created. As a matter of fact, even Stephen Miller and his wife talked about Epstein and when they were out of the White House. So, with all due respect to all of you, you haven't come up with a plan B. So you are the fuck up of the week because the problem that you created is proverbially biting you in the ass.
Yes.
So with that, we can conclude. We will thank you for continuing subscribing and viewing us. And we're here. Please give me your comments. And if you have a topic you would like me to talk about, put it down there and I'll talk about it. And we will comment on it. So with that, see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care.
You too, Jimmy. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.